Paul McBeth's.
Relatively calm compared to what we practiced out here. This was a huge right to left crosswind in all of our practice rounds, but today the weather's pretty attackable.
Yeah, it seemed like it was just straight tailwind. So your best choice is just to land it short. If you do go deep, I think that putt's just a little bit harder, and it's hard enough as it is.
Yeah, you definitely don't want any kind of headwind on this basket. And that is also resting against the stone.
Perfect.
Actually, it was you, Nate. When you're at the bottom of these stones here, you still, Paul just barely gets that over the rim. It still is a challenging putt. There's only way you can give yourself a tap in is if you're on the second, just dig in, but that didn't really have the dig in angle that he needed.
It was a tricky win. It was a right to left kind of head, if anything. Like you could see that flag, and that's scary to put it out over the road because one little flip, and then that's a really horrible mistake. You can still make par.
Nice shot there.
Very good.
I really like the forehand second here to fight that slope.
Paul does too. And this is on a really good, nice wide line. Little skip to the basket on the bottom side. Self-miss to watch it still. That was a very easy putt. I definitely did not like seeing that one hit the ground.
McBeth said he wanted to work on his sidearm, get a little more distance, probably for holes like this, and this is just on a fantastic line. Are you kidding me?
It just didn't have any chance but to do that.
Yeah.
At no point was it close to any tree. It just was perfect.
This hole, in my opinion.
Totally. I'd look at that the same way. When I was looking at scores in the morning and I saw that my buddy Nate birdied it, I was really happy for him. So to get the birdie myself it felt good. Because this is definitely one you look at, you're thinking, this is going to take everything I've got to get there. The disc can never be higher than 10 feet off the ground. And maybe even 8 feet off the ground.
That's low.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't think it's 440.
No,
though.
not even close. I mean, you just can't even really get 440 off this tee. You're
False little edge right before where there's like a little ditch. So low ceiling, you hit that and you're almost, just to get the birdie. How many birdies?
Look at this. Well, we'll find out after this hole's played, but going into this hole, there were 0.
Birdie, this is a great day for it. And Paul's going to have to toss this one in. And even he is not even interested in it. He's
0
just
birdies
looking
for the day.
Easy par.
And yeah, he's a pretty interesting place for it to be, and only a little bit farther, but a true par 5. Paul's going to go with his buzz. Low ceiling with the mid-range. He's got to really drive it, and this is...
And this is just a classic hole that will never get old.
Yeah.
Ever.
What were you going to say?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that this type of hole will last forever. We're never going to see this be just so easy that it's like, no, we can't have that on a course.
Yeah, it's a sneaky low ceiling. The gap is really small late. It's not like a pure turnover or...
Angled correctly, I think the green is actually pretty friendly deep.
And not to get ahead of ourselves, but McBeth is playing perfect. Paul is looking skyward here.
Yeah, he likes this play because he says that even if he hits that inside tree, I believe that one right there, that green, that puts you in a good spot, really.
And this is what we're talking about, getting in jump putt range. How aggressive does he want to be? Smartly, not very. Beautiful birdie for Paul.
And that perfect play will continue through 6 holes for Paul.
This can be a pretty treacherous hole. I mean, you leave it to 30 feet. That's the one thing you don't want to do.
This is as treacherous as it gets. There's creeks. Basically, anytime you hit a tree, you're in a creek.
Yeah, you have to be very specific. Yes.
I'm a little bit surprised that McBeth doesn't forehand here, but I love the result.
Probably. Paul McBeth to stay perfect from 25 feet. Little high rise, center buckets.
What a start.
Didn't know you could do that.
There is that OB Creek to be worried about if you have a huge drive, but every approach, you got to make that decision. Am I going across or am I going to play for par?
Yeah.
Man, this guy.
It just never at any point. Look at that. And,
That's-
okay, right there it hit something. But I mean, at no point to that last tree lane that really feels comfortable the whole way through. It's
So Paul does have the standstill putter. That's a good sign.
I was a bit surprised that he didn't go with the forehand anhyzer because it opened up the gap a bit more. But I think in his eyes, he's just thinking, if I can get anywhere near the circle, count it.
Great putt to save the par. Good scramble. Can he do it? That looks easy, doesn't it?
It just does.
7 under through 8. Wow.
When we were starting our rounds, Calvin, I believe, was leading at 10 under.
Definite bonus birdie. I think this one is harder than hole 3.
I do. Oh, for sure.
Oh, yes.
Because there's a
Yes.
tiny gap and it's uphill. Yeah.
So this is when I kind of knew that Paul was feeling it because he told me what he was going to do, and that was it. He was playing out to the left side of the basket. He said, I'm just going to put it out there in circle 2 and just see what happens. And I was like, well, you just did that perfectly.
Here's Paul from really far. Oh, jeez Louise. Calm down.
Seriously.
Someone grab a bucket of Gatorade for this guy because he is just on fire.
That is crazy.
That is
So
not a birdie to get.
he just went long of the gap there, right? He's going around the backside.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't technically quite pin high, but he was just in the open space to allow him to show how good he is.
But he didn't go up the gap that most people go
Correct.
up, correct? He's like beyond that. Wow.
That could be top 10 best 9s I've ever heard of.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah,
I mean, it's effectively perfect as we discussed.
Yes.
Hole 9 is super hard as you just saw.
I mean, there's
That's
like
incredible.
4 holes that are, maybe 5 of those 9 are incredibly tough. And I mean, it's up there with me with the 9 that he shot in Michigan at Ken. Yeah, that was the perfect round there. Incredible stuff.